I can't believe it, Mike. It's so great to have you back on the road to rock. But you know what? You're always on the road to rock. Loverboy playing dates all over the place all summer long. It never
Yeah.
ends.
Yeah, we got a few dates. Well, we cut back this year, actually, to be honest with you, because we wanted to have a little time for fishing and golfing and bike riding and life.
Are those all things that you have taken up? Are you a big fan of all those
Yeah,
activities?
absolutely. I do it. I do it all the time. I'm going golfing right after this interview, as a
I
matter of
love
fact.
it. We just came from the American Century in Lake Tahoe where we cover that, and there's all the celebrities and all the things, and
Was it fun?
it
Was
was
it fun?
amazing. Yeah, it's the one of the best. I mean, just yeah. I mean, we're from Kansas City, so we got Travis Kelsey out there and his brother Jason, and like just a lot of celebrities and a lot of fun. I'll try to get you an invite. I think you could win the thing. Some
Well,
old NHL player won it.
who won it? Do you remember who it
It
was?
was he just retired. Joe Pavlesky.
Okay, good.
He just retired a couple years ago. But yeah, it's great to have you back, Mike. I tell you, you have always been one of our favorite guests, always one of our favorite bands. And I think the last time we saw you was 2 years ago. You guys were opening for Foreigner in St. Louis, and a buddy of ours, Louis Aguiar, who played for the Chiefs, I think he
All
kind
right.
of knows you.
He came out. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
him coming out. I'm just
yeah, that's
put
crazy.
this,
We're big Chiefs people here.
just trying to
Obviously, we
adjust
cover
this
the
so I
team,
look
and
good. Do I look good?
he
Yeah.
said he knew you, and I believed him. So I
Yeah, he came
guess
to the
he was right.
concert with his gal, and they had a fun time, and we were rapping about stuff. We had a whole bunch of guests that night. I mean, we've had such a great career. I mean, are you kidding me? I know all kinds of sports guys and golf guys and rock and roll guys. A lot of people say, "What's the biggest thing about it? Is it making money and playing all over the world?" I go, "No, has nothing to do with any of that. What it has to do is the people I used to idolize. I now have their phone numbers, and, and we talk all the time. You know what I mean? That's the real win for me."
Same here. Having guys like you on is exactly that feeling for me. And for you guys coming up here, it's going to be July 24th, next Thursday, July 24th. You guys are going to be here in Mayetta, Kansas, just a stone's throw from where I am in Kansas City. Going to be coming out to see it. Can't wait to do it here at the Prairie Bend Casino, which is an amazing venue. And you guys, how is it for you guys kind of playing these headlining days where you get maybe a longer set at these really cool venues versus like the opening slot where you maybe only get 45 minutes to an hour, but now you get to play the full set. What's it like, the balance of that?
Playing the full set's awesome. We've been playing a full set for the last little while. We've been doing our own shows, and you know what? It people call out the name like they always say, "Can you play this song? Can you play that song?" And I say, "How about if I play my favorite song?" And I we break into like "When It's Over," which and the crowd just goes crazy because they love it and they sing along with us. It's fantastic. What else is good? I don't mind doing the hour set because it's like boom, meat and potatoes, like one after the other. That's always fun too. But I like the hour and a half set better.
Can't wait for it. Make sure that you guys come out if you're a listener, a viewer of us here at On the Road to Rock. You know, we're going to be out there, and I know a lot of people are asking about the show. It's July 24th, coming right up, Mayetta, Kansas, and got to pay the toll to get to the Kansas side. And I'm just going to send that bill to your management. I don't like toll roads, but that's what we have here.
Is it
I'm not a
better
big,
this way?
yeah, a little bit. And Mike,
What?
you celebrated kind of a monumental birthday this year. You turned 52, and I'm just congratulations on
50.
making it that far.
I love you, Clint. I wish I was 52. I got shoes that are 52. Um, yeah, no, it was a big. Actually, I still haven't got over that birthday because it's tough when you hit the big 7-0, and I can't even believe I said that out loud. But you know what it is? I said to myself, "You're in a rock band. I mean, how bad can it be?" So, and I'm still touring all the time, and we're loving it. But I had a hard time accepting the big 7-0. I'm still kind of fighting it.
Understandable. I wasn't going to say it. That's why I went with 52. It just sounded better, and it suits you. But a lot of artists that we talk to, especially singers, obviously singers that say that, oh, when I got to 60, say that, we kind of had to start tuning down the songs and making it. Is that something that you guys have had to do? I mean, your voice has always been so powerful. It seems like to me like you guys haven't missed a beat live.
We do a half step down, but most bands do. You know what it is? Like we cut these songs, a lot of them when we were in our mid 20s. And let's be real. How many athletes play when they're 70? You know what I mean? So, and we're up there rocking and moving around and singing harmonies and playing all the hits. And a little half step just helps a little bit, just makes it a tiny bit, especially when you're playing like show after show after show, traveling around in a tour bus. And, but, loving it.
What's it say about this band that these songs that you created, more than 40 years ago, that still resonate so much with people, that there's still such a demand for this band, whether you're opening for, some of the major acts of the time, or you're doing these headlining shows. What does that just say about the fan base that Loverboy has, these songs that you've created, and the symbiotic relationship that I've seen when you're on stage, and how well these songs go over live every time you do them?
Right on. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they said the first time I saw you was with Kansas back in 1982 or something, because we were on tour with Kansas for for a whole year. And the guy says, you blew them away. And I go, don't talk like that. Kansas is one of my favorite bands of all time. I couldn't believe we even got that tour. But you know what it is for me? It's those songs. Uh, are a piece of people's, it's a fabric, it's in their genes, like, and that's kind of cool, because bands that are starting out nowadays, I don't know how they do it, because their songs are like a month old, but and I don't know what that would be like. Our songs are like 45 years old, and people still love them. They know every word. If I miss a word, I could read the lips of the crowd in front of me. And you know what, it's unbelievable, really. It's the greatest thing.
I remember talking to you years ago, and I think that you had said that your guys' first show ever as Loverboy was opening for Kiss. Was it in Calgary?
Vancouver.
Vancouver. What was
Yeah.
that like? What was that show like? That was Kiss's, must have been Kiss's Dynasty tour in '79.
Yeah, probably. What it was is we were just hanging out. It was the summertime, I think, and I got a call from my manager. He says, "You're playing tonight in the Coliseum," and I went, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, you're going to go warm up Kiss." We hadn't even cut a record yet, so we had to stand in front of the Kiss crowd and play all these songs nobody had ever heard before. I'm literally nobody had ever heard them before. They weren't even recorded yet. But we had 45 minutes of songs that ended up being like our first and second album. And we got up there proud as peacocks and just strutted around and did our thing. And I've heard that a lot of bands get booed off the stage when they play with Kiss because they just want to see Kiss. And I said, whatever. I barely remember doing the show because I was in this kind of trance. And I had to just do the whole show, and I just went crazy. And the crowd went. And since then, we've been friends with a couple of the guys. Gene Simmons is a friend of mine, and we see each other, quite often, and we always stop and chat and stuff. He's up in Vancouver a lot. I think his daughter lives up in Whistler, and I think they have a house up there. So it's kind of a neat arrangement. All those years later, and we're still both doing it.
Yes, I love that, because that's my music. Those are the bands that I love. And for you guys, what I've always loved is just the pop sensibilities, and you never lost that. Was there ever any pressure, kind of, as things were taking off for you guys, as working for the weekend, and Kid Is Hot Tonight, and Women in Love, Hot Girls in Love are coming out? Is there ever a time where a record company was like, "Hey, you guys are gonna have to get heavy. You're gonna have to keep up with the Quiet Riots, with the new wave of British heavy metal, the Priests and Maidens"? Was that ever something that came up?
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. They talked about it. Record companies turned down a couple of our recordings. They said no, 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 and that's their prerogative. Even Paul wanted to get heavier. Paul Dean wanted to get heavier. He didn't want us to record any ballads, and
Mm.
it took me to do Almost Paradise, and it became a big, huge hit. And the record sold 30 million records. So, the soundtrack
Yeah.
for Footloose. And up until then, Paul says, "Oh, we're not doing any ballads. We're just going to rock." And I said, "Well, what would it hurt to do a ballad, And it was a duet with Heart, one of the biggest bands in the world, I didn't think it would be a problem. And it took him a while to kind of absorb that. And then he finally came to me, he said, that was a good idea. And then we started cutting a few ballads. But the heavier thing, I wasn't really, I said, like, we're more of a hard rock drive band, rather than a big heavy band. And I know all the bands you're talking about, and somehow I just kind of liked where we were, and that's why we kept at it.
Which is wonderful. I love that. And that's why I think I think that's why, to bring it full circle, why you guys resonate so much, is there was no deviation. You guys were this just amazingly, and like your voice with these songs, it just all hit. And like it's funny because I just saw Miles Teller at the American Century. We were just talking about the American Century, and he plays Rooster in Top Gun Maverick. And I got to thinking, like, why they brought back some of the songs for Top Gun Maverick from Top Gun, and they didn't bring it back Heaven in Your Eyes. And that I was just now 3 years later, I'm retroactively pissed that they didn't do that. And I was talking to Miles Teller about that.
You know, what's funny is I cut a record and I sent it to the producers of
Wow.
the new one of the new Top Gun. And you know, I didn't even hear back, but you know, it's one of those games you play. So I actually went in the studio, and me and Jim Pederick from Survivor
Yes.
wrote a song, and we recorded it and sent it in, and it was classic for that movie. It was called "Without a Bullet Being Fired," because you know how they were doing their jet thing,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
down, "Without a Bullet Being
Oh,
Fired" was a fantastic title, fantastic song, and maybe I'll use it on another record. But at least we tried, and it's all up to the music director in these movies to put in whatever they want. And I think they wanted to update it a bit, and they used a couple of songs from the first one, and then they went all new.
well,
Yeah, and
yeah. I would love to hear that song sometime. That'd be amazing. And it's weird because a lot of there's one scene where they do it, and it's like "Won't Get Fooled Again" by the Who is the song, which is a great song. It's like, well, if you're gonna do that, like that song's 50 years old. Like, why not your song with Jim Peterick, who I love, has been on the show a bunch. I would love to have
right.
heard that in there.
Yeah. No, I hear you, but it's up to the supervisor of the music.
Sure.
You know, they're in charge, and But at least I tried. You know, Jim and I were really thinking it might make it because of the lyrics and it was an up tempo rocker. It would have been perfect for the old flybys with the jets and stuff. But
Yeah, it's like sometimes you think songs that would just be so perfect, like you could not make it have a better song for a moment. Like the movie people just have a whole different, it's just a whole different idea for it, and it just kind of goes by the wayside. And I would
exactly, and
you gotta
that's
release that
business.
sometime. I'm begging.
Okay, will do, will do.
That's amazing. I mean, as we kind of look forward here to you guys got dates all the way, I think scheduled right now all the way into February of 2026. I think you're doing a cruise. Do you like doing the cruises? Are those fun? No one goes overboard. That has happened a couple times, but I hope.
You know what? The one cruise that we've done a few cruises, but the one they asked us to do and we turned it down primarily because we felt something was happening. And as it turned out, the one we turned down, they wouldn't let the ship dock for a month and a half. That was the one because everybody on the boat was starting to get COVID. And
Oh,
it was just fortunate that we did turn it down because who wants to be stuck on a boat for a month and a half with all these sick people?
ooh,
And we probably would have got sick too. So now that everything's kind of back to normal, and I don't know if you saw the list of these people that we're playing with on I think it's called the Rock Cruise 13 or something. And it's
Rock
fantastic
Legend
lineup.
Cruise.
All my buddies are on this cruise. Gene Simmons is on it. Mickey Thomas is on it. I think it's Mickey Thomas. It's the Starship, anyways.
Yep,
And you know, a whole bunch of people we know and we've played with for many years. That's going to be a heck of a tour. That
I
one, you know,
know.
that it's like a week of rock and roll. There's two concerts every night and acoustic concerts all over the boat. And I like doing them. I like being in the nice blue water and sailing along, and and all the people are in there just because they love to rock.
Yeah, and that just the experience of that, and the pool deck shows that when you're out on the deck, and then they have the theater. It's just wonderful, and I really want to do one of those. Mike, I always say that if you're lucky enough to create a song, no matter what it is, no matter what genre, that goes down and that becomes an iconic song, part of the lexicon of music, you've done something right. But if you've done a song that also gets associated with something from pop culture, then you've really done something right. And for you guys, everybody's working for the weekend, kind of is synonymous with this Chippendales moment. I just wanted to get your take on like what your first thoughts when you saw this skit with that song, and it did, and what was going through your mind when you first saw this Chris Farley, Patrick Swayze moment.
Well, that's a great question. Great question. You know, the funny thing is, uh, people can use the music for whatever they want. They don't even really have to ask as long as it's like over 7 years old, kind of thing.
Mm.
And so I didn't even know they were using it. And I played the show that night I go back to my room and I like to pack for the next morning before I go to bed. And so I flicked on Saturday Night Live, and I'm just watching it like any other fan of Saturday Night Live. And all of a sudden, I hear bonk, 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 da, 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 and then these two guys dancing, and they couldn't have been more different, right? The one big, clumsy guy, and the one great dancer. But almost pissed my pants, man. That was funny, and I just saw it just like everybody else saw it. I didn't know it was coming, and I just thought it was awesome. And it's pretty iconic. I think they used it in the 50-year anniversary too.
Yes, it's like one of those like when you think of more cowbell moment like Christopher Walken and the Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult, and then this like that just it really stands out to me, and it's like funny how it gives those songs new life that just exists in a different realm now, and that's pretty cool.
I just got a note this morning that said a, a video game wants to use. I think it's working for the weekend for a segment in their video game. And I thought that was kind of cool.
That's
So
really
it's
cool.
happening. It's happening all the time. Yeah.
And that's funny how these songs get. I think that's one great thing about music today or technology today is that I'm around a lot of high school students. I've subbed and done taught high school in my life, and these kids know these songs now. Whereas before, in a generation before, it just you don't know. This is old people music. I don't know. Now they find them. They find it on YouTube. They find it on TikTok. That's a really cool thing that keeps these songs alive with the younger audience.
I think it's the internet, exactly, and YouTube and TikTok, whatever. We're noticing the young people come to the concerts, especially the big outdoor summer concerts. You see the first 20 rows are all these young people, and they're trying to dress like us, and they're doing the big hand thing, and they're singing the words. And it's all got to do with the internet. It's brought everybody a little closer to everything. And, it's not just the stuff your parents listen to. Now they're listening to it, and they're rocking, which is cool.
I want to ask you about age and rock and roll because I remember specifically going to see Kiss on the reunion tour, and that was in 1996. I think Paul Stanley was 45 years old, just a little older than I am now. And people telling me, like, that's the old, oh my God, those old guys playing. Are you kidding me? And it's funny to think, I feel like now you talk about just turning 70, that music is so ageless and bands like yours are so timeless that people don't bring up age as much anymore. Do you feel like that's also the case?
Absolutely, they don't. We played last weekend. We were in, let's see, where was it? It was just outside of Minneapolis at Prior Lake, and 17,500 people showed up. 38 Special played all their hits. We played all our hits. Foreigner played all their hits. And we're all kind of relatively the same age. And the crowd just was crazy. They went crazy for it and was very successful. And I don't think age has much to do with it anymore. As long as you're presenting the hits properly, and you're singing them well and playing them well. I mean, if we start flubbing them and making them sound terrible, I think that'll be the time to hang it up. But as it is now, we have fun doing it, and we really look forward to it.
How do you feel about bands that are able to kind of keep, because I kind of fall on two sides of this, bands that are able to keep their legacy alive. You guys have several original members of Loverboy, but some bands don't have that luxury for whatever reason. And I never judge that, but to be able to to me, the important thing is keeping the music alive. There's stuff that's probably way over our heads, like Kiss is doing kind of some Avatar thing. I don't quite even know what all that encompasses, but to keep the Loverboy name alive, like as the years and decades go by, is there kind of a plan for that? Would you be okay with like other people taking on the band name and logo? Like, what is your thoughts on just kind of keeping all these legacy acts alive?
I think I think it's great. Like, I'll give you an example, Foreigner.
Yeah,
I don't,
exactly.
I don't think they've ever sounded better.
Correct.
And I mean, we play with them all the time. We've been playing with them for 45 years. I remember playing in the Meadowlands with Foreigner back when everybody was right out of right from England, except for this, Lou. He was from, I think, Syracuse or Rochester. I think that's why they call themselves Foreigner, because they came over from England. Anyways, they do a fantastic job, the new band, and it's just like unbelievable, just absolutely like the record. The same thing happened with 38 Special last week. They were fantastic, and they played. I think they got a couple of original members. Foreigner are actually no original members, but it doesn't matter because they play the song so well, and the presentation's great. They got a great production. As far as we go, we got four members that started the band in 1980, and we lost one member in 2000 to a sailing accident,
Right.
which was Scott Smith, and a dear friend of mine. Was so sad. But even the new guy in our band's been in the band 25 years. So
Pretty good. That's amazing. And a true testament to you guys, Mike. And I know you got a golf round coming up. I hope you play well today. You are always such a delight to have here on the Road to Rock. It always means a lot to us, especially to be able to combine this with you coming out here to our area next week on July 24th. Can't wait to see you at the Prairie Bend Casino, my friend. It's always a pleasure, and you just kill it out there today. Go make some birdies, okay?
Thanks, Clint. I appreciate it. I love talking to you, man.
Always, Mike. Thanks a lot, my friend. Appreciate it.
All right.